This is going to be a table leg for a pedestal table. I've glued two 4x6s together and rough cut them into this wavy shape. Now I'm going to be refining that shape. I want the leg to be on an angle coming off of the base and meeting up with the top. I also want the leg to get thinner as it gets closer to the tabletop. I'm going to take some measurements to ensure it's thinner at each progressive spot along the curve. Now I want to make sure I have enough leg height to make an appropriate height table. This is going to be a side table, and I'm planning to make it 27 inches to the top. I'm going to start by removing a large amount of the material using a power planer. I'll hook it up to my vacuum to catch the dust. The vacuum does a pretty good job of pulling most of the wood chips away from the cut. However good the vacuum did, I still ended up with a little extra fiber in my coffee cup. It's so important to make sure your vise handle is clean. We're going to start with some chiseling to take away medium-sized amounts of material. Now we move on to a wood rasp. This will help me get the final shape right up close to the line. Now I'm going to chamfer down closer to that line. Then I can chase back to the sloped spot from the other side. This whole process in real time took about 2 hours, and then I spent about another hour and a half to 2 hours doing this editing. You're about to see why the shelves behind my bench are mounted from the ceiling and not attached to the bench itself. Don't worry, nothing broke. Back to the chisel, where there's enough material to make it make sense. At this point, I'm dangerously close to breaking a sweat, which is not typically the vibe I'm going for when I'm using hand tools. My favorite part about cutting curves like this into a piece of wood is watching as the grain becomes exposed and how beautiful it is. A little bit of sanding to knock down the high spots left by the rasp. And then we're on to a card scraper. Now that I have the shape close, the rest of the project will be going back and forth from the card scraper to a sander to the rasp. Last sip of coffee. And here is the pretty close to final shape. You can see the top and bottom will be at a roughly this angle. Table on top, base on the bottom. And here's a nice close-up view of some of that grain structure that we exposed as we rasped and and sanded and scraped away. And here's a look at the other side. Flipped it over, and you can see that beautiful grain structure. You can see the seams. God, look at that. Love it. Thanks for watching.